Are you a life coach who wants to make a difference in the world? Do you want to share your wisdom, passion, and experience with others? Do you want to grow your business and reach more clients? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need Life Coaching Today. Life Coaching Today is the largest platform on the web for life coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists who want to enhance their visibility, gain exposure, and connect with clients. Life Coaching Today is more than just a directory. It's a network of opportunities. By joining Life Coaching Today, you will get access to a magazine where you can be featured and connect with over 30 million subscribers. Be a guest to our podcasts with over 55,000 subscribers. A directory where you can showcase your profile, services, and testimonials to thousands of potential clients. And that's not all. Life Coaching Today also offers a free 30-minute coaching session on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can be coached or meet your next client. A flexible pricing plan where you can choose the best option for your budget and goals. A dedicated customer service team where you can get help and guidance whenever you need it. So what are you waiting for? Join Life Coaching Today and take your life coaching career to the next level. Visit www.lifecoachingtoday.com and sign up today. Life Coaching Today, the largest portal on the web connecting coaches, therapists, and hypnotherapists.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is Kiddada Gray with Life Coaching Today, y'all. So welcome. Life Coaching Today presents with me, Kiddada Gray. If you have joined us for the first time, good morning. If you are a follower of mine and you listen to the show, good morning, and thank you for waking up. I know some of you all are angry this morning because you all are up, but it's all good. It's all good. I am struggling just a little bit this morning. I have not had any coffee as of yet, not 1 ounce of coffee. So I'm going to take a sip of coffee, if you all bear with me. However, I am excited. Oh, yeah, and let me just tell y'all, if you all don't know, if you're in Georgia, you all know the QT coffee is on deck this morning. All the fun stuff, good coffee. Go to QT. Don't get all the coffee because that's where I get my coffee from sometimes. So fun day today. I am so excited this morning because I wanted to do something different. We are still in Women's History Month. So yay, celebrating all the sister girls. And let me just say, because I just feel the necessity to say this, just because there's Women's History Month does not mean we do not celebrate men. It does not mean that we do not like the male population. We do here at Life Coaching Today Presents. But guess what? I don't think y'all have a month of your own, because guess what? Men have created the hierarchy and the patriarchy and have defined what life is like for us. So y'all gave us 1 month and I am going to celebrate all of it. Okay. Y'all see how that goes? So don't come to me talk about, well, I think that and why aren't you all next month? I'm going to celebrate men all on my own. So look for information about that. Okay, so let me take another sip because just before y'all get me started this morning. Just want to say that Miss Zora is home from her extended vacation. Apparently she had a summer home before I do. The privileges of being a dog. So she has been vacationing in her second home spot. I don't know. She's living this life that I want to lead one day. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to do something differently. If you are a first-time guest, what we do here is that we talk about life, political, social things, ideologies that impact our everyday lives. So that could be a topic, that could be like some psychology term, that can be anything in this world, actually, because if you see my title, I use the title Conflict Coach because everything in life is conflict, meaning that all the choices that you make, we are always in a constant decision-making process, which we don't realize, and that means that we are in conflict, meaning that we are not always in total agreement with what externally is brought to us and what internally is brought to us, and what we have going on. We just don't think about it. And what I have been trending with this month in Women's History Month is identity, because identity is super important for women, because we get all of these labels that are given to us since we are little people, little girls, right? We get sister, mother, daughter, auntie, grandma, and then we layer on if we are able to go to work, right? We get these job titles. We may get the other titles in the meantime, in the betwixt time of things like, what else? Like college students, worker, all these other titles, right? And so some of them are just laid upon us. We just get these labels stuck onto us like stickers. And then every once in a while, just every once in a while, y'all, we actually get to choose the label that we want. And today, I have a sister girl on that I am just impressed by, who is from South Fulton, Georgia, who has decided to stick on a sticker by her own choosing. And it is the sticker of not only politician or political candidate, but she is running for the highest political seat in the country. She is running right now to be president of the United States. So I love it. I'm so super excited about that. So she will be on. So I'm not going to ramble too much. I'm going to wait for her to join in studio, unless she's in studio, and just talk about, we are going to have like a great civics lesson, right? Because guess what? We don't get civics in school. If you get government, if you have government class, right? I don't think I had a government class in high school, but I know now because my youngest just graduated last year that government is an elective, meaning it's not mandatory. You choose to sit through that class. What I remember getting in school is go read some newspapers and come back with your ideas of stories that you are that interest you, right? That's politically interesting to you. Sometimes I think we need to bring that back because Lord knows people don't read, y'all. Okay, and I just realized something. I'm furrowing my brow, which we don't want to do. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Anita. I see y'all. I see y'all this morning with the sister girls. So we're going to have a quick civics lesson, right? So I'm going to lean in a little bit and get comfortable. And did I mention, wait a minute, I got to mention, did I tell y'all this sister girl that's running for president, she is from South Fulton, Georgia? She is a Georgia girl. I don't know if she's born and raised, but we're going to find out. She is a Georgia peach, as they say. I'm going to call her that until she corrects me. So I want to give us a quick civics lesson. So for all my listeners, far and wide, and for the international crew, but even if you are domestically here in the United States, there's some things I want to share with you that you may not know. And before I forget, if you're following me on Facebook, welcome, good morning. Drop your questions in the chat because this is going to be so interesting. So first and foremost, in the United States, we have requirements to run for political candidacy, whether it is from top to bottom or bottom to top. And there are criteria in the United States to run for the presidency, right? You all can go look that up. You can be male or female. I think you have to be above the age of 35 or 37, right? You can't be a 22-year-old running for president. So that is like the basic kind of thing. We have 50 states in the United States, and then we have our other countries that we have colonized and kept a hold of and don't give them voting rights. But that's another conversation for another day. But they do have representatives, right? So let me just say that, right? So if you're in U.S. Virgin Islands, you do have representation. So you have the ability, like I have the ability to run for president of the United States. Now, there's many paths to running for president of the United States. In the United States, we have predominantly two-party system. We have the independents, and I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We have the Democrats and we have the Republican Party, okay? Those are the predominant parties in the United States. Has been for many moons, over 100 years or so. With that being said, a person like me can become the presidential nominee, right? If you were watching the news, and I am giving you all like real simplified version, Civics 101 in this case, but you do get elected by your peers, right? By your peers. If you want to be the president of the United States, right? And get on the ballot. Okay. That means your name is on the ticket. So if you're here in Georgia last week, because I can't do election math at the moment, I think it was last week, we had our presidential primary with President Biden on the ticket. Yeah, that's the only one that rings a bell for me. Sorry, y'all, because I wasn't paying attention to anybody else. That's going to tell y'all how I voted. However, there are third party. There are third parties in the United States. There's the Green Party. And yeah, you can be an independent, run for office as an independent. And there are now other parties that are started to be created. And as I'm learning about these other parties more and more from the background side of it, I'm trying to determine how do you disestablish these other parties, right? And so hopefully our candidate will explain her party, which is the new American Independence Party. And there's also a party called the No Labels Party that started in 2024. People are tired of politics. Now, if you are not aware, not only am I a life coach, but I am also a political consultant / political operative here in Georgia. So I work with candidates across the state, across the country. I teach on how to run for office, what it looks like to be a candidate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is really interesting to me when someone decides to choose the opportunity to run for president or run for any office when I know the heavy lift that it is just to run locally. There's hundreds of $1,000s financially that have to be raised. There are, we have media buys and we have walk lits, meaning what we leave at the doors that you all kind of hate, and robocalls and all kinds of things that have to go. And you got to have a team and so forth. So that is your quick Civic 101. Yes, Jennifer said it is. So I do have some other operatives on Facebook this morning, and it is very exhausting to explain this process. But that's neither here nor there, because the one thing about being in America is that we have the opportunity to live out our best dreams. We believe in working hard and the dreams come to us. Now I'm going to put the little asterisks on both sides, asterisks here, asterisks there, and say for some of us, no matter how hard we work, the system works against us. We're just going to keep moving the conversation that way. I do want to say, too, that with these third-party systems, it takes a lot to gain visibility. So if you're wondering, like, if you're an op and you're like, why would you give the Sister Girl visibility? And I'm like, listen, because everyone needs a voice. And I have a level of curiosity, just like everybody else, as to the question as to why, because I understand the hurdles that it takes. Ooh, also, let me just say this so it's more interesting. The United States politics is so interesting. So are you aware? So in 50 states, we do have states that say that you cannot be a candidate just because you want to. So you have to be a part of the two-party system. You can't run as an independent. Don't try to get on this ballot. If you are not a part of Democrats or the Republicans, if you have not been nominated by your peers, by the American public, you cannot get on the ballot. I found out this morning, because sometimes honestly, I don't know all the things, that there are other states that you are still in the space of qualifying to run well through May, y'all. Qualifying to get on the presidential ballot. I had no idea, no idea. And so in certain states, you have the ability to do that, right? And then not do that. In some states, you have to get to the presidency because there is a process to qualify. You've got to go down, you've got to fill out paperwork, you have to pay fees. I could not find out what the fee was to run for president in the United States, because if you were of a lower office, you can pay somewhere between $250 to $5,600. So I don't know if we had a qualifying fee for president in the state of Georgia. However, I do know to get on the ballot sometimes, to be an identifiable, I'm sorry, let me say that again, as an identifiable candidate, meaning your name printed, you can actually hustle up 10,000 names, signatures, get a petition, have 10,000 people sign up, send it into your Secretary of State's office, which will then send it to the Board of Elections after they have vetted all 10,000 people to see that they're legit. So you just can't put your mommy, daddy, and anyone from across the country on this ballot. And if you meet the criteria, you can get on the ballot. The other way to get on the ballot are write-in ballots, right? Or write-in candidates. So if you can write in someone else's name to run for president. Did y'all know that? I'm looking over to see. Oh, y'all. Okay, I got to pause because my uncle is watching. Hey, Frank, all the way from St. Kitts and Nevis. So, hey, love you, love you. I will do that on occasion if y'all haven't met me yet, but that's what I got to do. So I was saying you can be a write-in ballot candidate. And do you all know who is the most famous write-in candidate in the United States? If you do, drop it in the chat. Take a guess. I'm going to give y'all a count. I'm going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it is the famed, the astounding gentleman out of, I think, or gentle person out of Florida, and it is not Ron DeSantis, y'all. It's not Ron DeSantis. I'm going to see if anyone has dropped the name in there, but it is not Ron DeSantis. It is out of the great state of Florida, who's under crisis right now. And I don't see anyone with that name, so I'm going to say it is Mickey Mouse, y'all. Mickey Mouse has made it on the presidential ballot, I don't know how many times, but he is the most famous. Or the mouse is the most famous, but that's neither here nor there. So in a few minutes, we are going to have, and I'm going to get the sister girls, I'm going to pronounce it wrong. I knew how to pronounce it last night. So I'm going to say Angeline, but I will have her correct us and correct me. And we're going to go, I'm going to tell my producer Yoruba to go ahead and bring her on. And if you all have any questions or any comments, please go ahead, post them, send them our way, because I want this to be interactive. I'm also going to say this. I believe in anyone having the abilities to dream. Okay, because dreaming is what allows us to take ourselves to the next step of who we are. And so if you're questioning, like, oh my gosh, like this is kind of crazy to run for president. Well, listen, we have the right to do so in the United States. Would I do it? No, because y'all would be like, Kiddada is too short. You don't wear the right lipstick. I don't know. But we're going to be polite and diplomatic up in here. I got to set ground rules just in case. Some of y'all are like, what in the world is going on? Because I think it is an act of bravery to put yourself in the forefront of politics and have questions asked of you. Come up with a platform that you think meets the need. And obviously, her new party has decided that they, just like 63% of the American public, who are frustrated with the two-party system, that is a new statistics. It is actually increased by 7 points, y'all. How frustrated the two-party system is to Americans currently. So, Yoruba, let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we are going to have presidential candidate Angeline, sister girl, forgive me, Payne.
Welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada.
One of the biggest challenges for coaches, practitioners, and hypnotherapists is getting clients. As coaches ourselves, we know how difficult it is on social media to stand out and gain credibility. That is why at Life Coaching Today, we connect coaches like you with clients. It all starts with our directory, where it's possible to create a profile that gets the right exposure with over 12,000 hits a month. You can gain credibility by writing for Life Coaching Today magazine, add videos, be interviewed on our podcast, teach classes in the community, and sell your products directly from our website. Not to mention, we actually connect clients who are actively searching for coaches who can best serve them. So if you are struggling to get clients, have Life Coaching Today help you get more clients. Go to lifecoachingtoday.com.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, sister girl, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Adjusting. So good morning, everyone. I am Kiddada, as Mary Gray. Welcome back to Life Coaching Today Presents. And I am super excited. And I've only had this much coffee, but I'm still super excited. So welcome, presidential candidate Angeline Payne. Okay, tell me, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Angeline.
Okay.
Yes.
I told you last night I had it, y'all. This morning, not so much. So Angeline Payne, welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents. How are you this morning?
I am excellent this morning, exuberant and walking in blessings.
Yes, I hear that. Angeline, I am going to ask you to turn up your microphone just a little bit because it's hard to hear you.
Okay.
On the side of the world.
Make sure that I have this correct here. Make sure I got it on the right
it's
side.
all right. We are all
Can you
technology.
hear me better?
Yes, that's a little better.
Okay, let me take it out of its sleeve.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Thank you for waking up with us so early this morning.
Yes.
Some of y'all I'm going to have to take to lunch for waking up so early in the morning.
I'm not going to call. That's right. I got it scheduled.
I'm not going to call any names this morning. Don't hit me up either. So please. Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all the truth because we tell the truth up in here. So I was so excited to receive your information, and your first message to me, everyone, was basically discussing, the media blackout, right? It is hard, in essence, for you, if you are not of mainstream, to get access to a platform, right? So thank you for reaching out to me, and my platform welcomes you. Life Coaching Today. .com and Life Coaching Today Presents. We welcome you here, right? Because we want to share voices, and I love to uplift people and their dreams. So please tell us where you are from, because I got a shock this morning. I was like, wait a minute. I know she is not in South Fulton, Georgia.
Yes, I am.
Wow. Okay. So, I know the mayor now. And so now I know the mayor in South Fulton, but now I know a presidential candidate out of South Fulton. And let me just tell y'all, currently, I don't know of any other Black woman on the presidential ballot. So I am super proud of you, sis, for doing that. Because we do have Brother Cornel West on the ballot as well. And so This is super exciting. So can you please just tell us a little bit about yourself, and don't tell me your platform, right? You're gonna get a little coaching moment here.
Oh,
Tell
yes,
us,
indeed.
tell us where you're from, your background, where you went to school, give a shout out, all those type of things.
Oh, no, that's right.
If you have a little doggy or a little cat, tell us all the fun things about yourself.
Okay, excellent. Once again, my name is Angeline Payne. I am a native of Long Island in New York. I've been in the
Where in
state,
Long Island? Where?
yes,
Where?
Suffolk
Wait.
County.
Suffolk County. Where'd you go to
Yeah,
school?
I went to school at Patchogue Medford High School.
Okay. I can ask that question because I lived in Wyandanch for a hot
Okay.
second.
Oh, yes, we definitely play to get wide dance for sure.
Yes.
Many, many days out there on the baseball field and the track field, out
Yes.
there with wine dance. Yes, indeed. So, um, as I became a young adult, I decided I would go to school over in Ohio, and
Okay.
I went to school to Bliss College right down the street from Ohio State,
Okay.
and learned to be an executive secretary. That's where I got most of my administrative skills. From the
Mm,
time I learned those skills until today, I still utilize all those skills, especially my shorthand, to make sure that I'm capturing everything that I need to when I'm in a meeting. After being a young adult, I did become a mom when I was 18 years old. Had a son who is
mhm.
now, I believe, about 46. And then I came back home from Ohio, decided I was going to start just gathering myself to figure out what it is that I'm going to do being a young mom. So I decided after having my second son that I would just go to Georgia because my mom came down here and realized that this was a great place for young people who are looking to, get established in life. As in New York, there weren't many opportunities because if your family did not have a
Yeah.
business, then it was hard for you to get in business. You would pretty much have to get a governmental job, which I did. I worked for the IRS and the Veterans
Okay.
Administration when I was in New
Okay.
York. And after she just told me a bit about what's going on in Georgia, I said, yes, I'm willing to go. My brother was already transferred down here working for the convention center. So I knew that I would have a job and a place to stay when I got down here. So I got here, and after 30, I believe it's like 34 years now, I have
Oh,
not left Georgia. I told them
oh,
when they moved the island down here, I will surely go back, but they can have that snow. I don't mind cold weather, but the snow, they can keep that. So as I became a Georgia Peach, I decided I needed some more education. I did get my associate's degree at Suffolk County College in New York. Then I decided I needed a little bit more. So, being a single mom, I decided at some point my children are going to get older and they're going to need some more foundation. So, I did get married, been married now for 30 years,
okay.
and working through some things. And we went to school together up in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
There, I became a credit union manager, learning about the banking industry and the system. I created a financial diva program, an international man about town financial program to help us to get stabilized economically.
Mm,
And then, of course, they like, hey, you know what? We got this other course going on here. So that was in community economic development. And that really is the foundation for me running for president because knowing communities help you to understand what has to be done in a country to keep that country stabilized. So it was worth every moment that I went driving from Georgia up to Manchester, New Hampshire for about 2.5 years and getting that information and actually putting it to work. because that is also how we created the Economic Stabilization Planning Program, which helps citizens to understand that you have to be financially literate even to walk the lifestyle that you want to walk.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank
Okay, and
you.
let me also let you know I am a mother of 6. I have 3 girls and 3 boys. I do
Wait.
have roosters, I have chickens, I have cats. So those pets are actually my children's responsibility, but we do get fresh eggs every morning.
All right. Well, you did too much with announcing the 6 children. That's too much. That's too much. Too early in the morning. It's only 7:30. Ooh, that's too much. Well, what I am
Especially
hearing is,
nowadays, right?
goodness, Lord, what I'm hearing is that you have a real great economic foundation, right? You understand economics, you understand community development, and you are understanding the current economic needs here in the United States.
Oh, yes.
And so I need you to tell my listeners, because I understand that you're a conservative. Is that correct?
It is
Okay.
correct.
And what do you consider yourself? If we were to talk about titles, are you a conservative Republican? Are you a conservative Democrat? And yes, you can be a conservative Democrat, people. What would be your official title, or if you had to kind of write that down, what does that look like for you?
I am a American candidate who is conservative,
Okay.
meaning that I was born in this country, I live in this country, more than likely I will pass in this country, and I am totally American.
Okay, I like that. I like that. And so, can you tell us more about the New American Independent Party?
Okay.
How did that come about? How did you create it? Give us all the details.
Okay, with the American Independence, and that's with the C, American Independence Party, it came about during the official run, which I started my run after the 2022 election. We
Okay.
experienced a lot of shock from 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw what was going on and that the community wasn't reacting the way that I felt that they should act, and the president not reacting the way that I felt that he should have act, I was like, there is some education missing in our community when it comes to civics. We have to understand how these individuals are put into these positions. We are the ones who vote for them. We're the ones who pay their paychecks. So why are we cowing down to what is being said to us? Our voices is our biggest thing in our Constitution. We have the right to gather and voice our opinion to our government. That's what free speech allows us to do. So as I am a former Republican, and going through the convention, and after making my announcement, now one of the things that you want to be mindful of is when you have a party and you are a candidate, your party is there to support you all the way through, from the time that you throw your hat in and then getting trained and making sure that you're getting your paperwork and meet these deadlines on time. None of that happened with the Republican Party. But be mindful, I've also have been a campaign manager, and I saw this before I ran from another candidate, Cesar Gonzalez, who was running in my district, the 13th district.
Mm-hmm.
Not seeing the camaraderie or the support that was needed by the party. So when I was at a convention, we were doing a summit for African Americans, and one of our past candidates, and I believe Catherine Davis was running for governor here in Georgia, she stood up in the room and asked, do Republicans really want African Americans in the Republican Party? And the room grew silent. That was my cue. I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot continue to support an organization that claims to support their candidates And not only did they not support Republican candidates, they did support Democratic candidates and pitted them against Republican candidates. And I seen this with my own eyes. No one told me this. I actually experienced and seen this. So I know that a lot of people was discontent with what was going on from 2020 all the way up to 2022 in the voting system. And I noted a pattern every 2 to 4 years. They want to walk into our communities, not physically, but have us bring them into our communities, promises this, promises that. And then after that 2-year, 4-year period has passed, we no longer see them in our communities. The things, the issues that are affecting us, we're left in what Cesar Gonzalez would say, in squalor. And you can see it all up and down the roads of Terra Boulevard here in the south part of Georgia, of Fulton County. And it's, it has to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if we stop it. Because we always have to remember, whatever we tolerate, we empower that. Okay. So we are the ones who are responsible. And we can't blame them. So we just have to be more mindful about who we're choosing and why we're choosing them. And yes, I do want to go over with you the road to getting to the point of running for president.
So I do have a question for you. So as a Black woman, you're sitting in the Republican convention, and at some point in time, did it ever occur to you that you had to kind of get rid of your Blackness to be a Republican?
Oh no, that never would occur to me. One of the things that we have to realize being a servant leader is that your party nor your race is important when it comes to doing work for the people. You have to remember that you represent all Americans when you are in a servant leader position. It's no special interest, it's no special race. We, as this party, as the National American Independence Party, we have removed labels because that is how they build up businesses around us and use us to enrich themselves. No one in our communities have ever received a check from racism. None of us have ever gotten a check just because we were Black, just because we called ourselves this that someone else has labeled us. We are Americans. We live in America. And as I said before, we're more than likely going to die here in America. So we need to make sure that we're getting all the resources that are available, not some special resources with fine print on the bottom of it saying that you need to get this before such and such a time, or it leaves out of your community. So I never had to feel that way. It's just that I know that the ingrained leadership is not looking to build up new leaders. They put a facade there saying that, but that is not what's being done. You have to support people, like you said, who throw their head out there in that arena and want to put themselves up front and let people know what credentials that they have to be able to lead and be led to help this country be the great country that she is.
So thank you for that. I need some clarity, and just for my listening audience too, because when we say we don't want to, when you say, we don't want the labels, right?
Yeah.
So that really means you're talking about you don't want a political party label traditionally of Democrat or Republican. Is that correct?
No, I mean as people.
As people.
Yes.
We're
like
removing.
They say that we have Caucasians, we have Caucasian Americans, we have Black Americans, we have Asian Americans. We're all are just Americans. We should not be identified as those things, because now you're thinking of me as a certain kind of way because you believe I come from a certain community just because this label is being put upon me. But I am just a plain American. I was born here. I live here. So why are you trying to identify me as a particular thing so that you can identify what you can raise money on, because none of that money ever hits our communities. We said we have a Job Corps that's been sitting in our community going into the ground over the last 8 years because we've been labeled as a Black community. And we can get this money for that community. And all they do is start it, take the money out, and then we're left with this eyesore and no trades for our young men and young women in our communities or our displaced workers.
Okay, thank you. My mind is, I'm processing and thinking. So I have some other questions. I will be full of questions. So,
Okay.
I've said that I'm a political consultant.
Yes.
I'm an operative. So I have
Mhm.
some questions. So you've decided to run for office and you speak specifically to South Fulton, right? But what is your vision for the United States of America, 50 states plus outlying countries that we own? We're going to leave that alone again.
Oh, yes. We have a lot of property.
Wait, before you answer that, I have a question for you. So you were in Long Island. Are your people from the United States? Are they Caribbean? Are they, everybody was, where are your people from?
All are here from America. My mom and dad are from North and South Carolina. I was
Okay.
born in High Point, North Carolina, and my mom and father migrated to Long Island, New York.
Okay. Oh, Lord, why they go? I don't understand why people in the warm parts of the country go north. It's just too cold. I don't understand
You see, I'm back down here, right? I couldn't do it.
You made it back. So here's my question. Like I said, let me just repeat myself. So you speak specifically about Georgia, specifically about South Fulton. However, you are running to be president of the United States.
Most
so
definitely.
Can you give me like 3 things, 3 topics, 3 issues that you see most importantly need to be addressed in the United States currently?
I will, but let me give you a format. One of the things that we have to understand is that the United States is made up of communities, small communities and bigger communities that we call states, which makes our country. So you always have to start everything at a foundation, and our communities are our foundation. If our communities are not stable, our country is not stable. And with the issues that we're having today, first with immigration, that is a problem in our communities. And of course, that is exasperated in our states because they're using their resources that are supposed to be for us, which is our tax dollars. And they're not using these tax dollars to do what they need to do in our communities for the Americans in that community. So we're having a real big issue right there. A lot of people are concerned about our resources leaving out of our country without us voting on that. Those resources are being cataloged and waiting to be dispersed to another country when we're having issues of homelessness in this country, especially with our veterans, our Vietnam vets. They're living in the streets all over our country, and you're sending money, our resources, our tax dollars out of this country. We have a real big issue with that. And then we have a working market that is saturated, especially with the different issues that's happened since 2020, with us not being able to really regain our working class, getting back to work, getting an affordable pay with this inflation that is happening. Everybody is hurting right now. So, and I always tell people there is no Republican line for gas, there's no Democratic line for gas, there's no independent line for gas. Everybody goes to the same gas station. So everyone is hurting. So we have to get this country back in line and stop having our federal government reaching over into these states who created them. They did not, the federal government did not create our states.
Thank you. I just want to say, people that are following me, if you have any questions, please drop them so I can ask those questions of you and we can do that. I do have a question because I always find it fascinating when candidates bring up the idea of immigrants. And
Mm-hmm.
I am an immigrant. I come from an immigrant family.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because there's a lot of Caribbean people that live in the United States,
Oh, yes.
I am going to assume that when you say immigrants, because I'm American by paper, that you are
Most
speaking
definitely.
of illegal immigrants. What type of
That
immigrants are you speaking about?
when we're having issues with immigrants, we're talking about those who are coming across the border illegally and who are
Mhm.
not going through the process that others who have come to this country came to the border, came through the gates, came through the island over there where the Statue of Liberty is, Ellis Island, and went through the process to be acclimated and assimilated as an American, rather just being here in this country and hoping one day that someone does not find out that they're here and then have to go through the process of being deported as though they're being treated unfairly when they did not fairly go through the process that others who came years and decades before them actually went through to be legal Americans in this country, legal citizens.
So so it would be I guess your understanding or your policy initiative would be to become an American, because my parents are not Americans, because everyone, if you did not know, you do not have to be an American to live in the United States. You can be here by visa, so you can
Mm-hmm.
actually stay here. So that is a part of the conversation that is never stated, that you can
Mm-hmm.
actually live here for many years on a visa without
Yes,
becoming an official American citizen. Becoming an
most
American
definitely.
citizen gives you the opportunity to vote.
Yes,
However, that does not prevent you from buying a house. It does not prevent you from working in the United States. It does not
exactly.
prevent you from opening a bank account. So I think that is something that most Americans aren't aware of. So
Right.
what you're actually looking forward to is, if you want the ability to vote in the United States.
Yes,
That is the most beneficial portion of being an American,
most
because
definitely.
if you are here in the United States visa wise, guess what? They still pay taxes. And so do
Oh, yes.
illegal immigrants also pay taxes. I just want to let you all know that when they get
Almost
jobs
if
with
they have a
American.
job, most definitely.
I just want to say that again. Illegal immigrants actually work in this country because they are hired by American companies to work.
Yes.
Okay. And then if they somehow, some way, if they're not paid under the table, excuse me, they actually pay taxes in this country at a
Mhm.
large rate. So once again, I'm just going to ask for clarity. So
Mhm.
when you say illegal immigrants, is it
Yes.
not true that when we talk about illegal immigrants in the United States causing problems, it's really people who, on the surface level, it looks like they're the ones committing crimes? Is that your understanding?
No, that is one of the things that we have to understand. You are
Okay.
correct when you say that a lot of people are here on visa, but you also have to respect your visa as well. You have deadlines and things of that nature and responsibilities with that visa. So you are documented in this country when you are on a visa. And of course, there's several different types of visas for coming into this country. And we have to be aware of that, but you are still going through a process and you are documented under those visas. Individuals who are not documented, we don't know where they are. And if they do commit a crime, that's the only time that we know that they are undocumented in this country. And it doesn't matter whether you're documented or undocumented. When you commit a crime is a crime and you
Right.
have to pay for it. And if you are here not legally, then you will be deported out of this country if you're not in a sanctuary state. So you just have to be aware of that. And people who live in these communities where they're bringing these undocumented people to, they have to be aware of the laws as well, because a lot of people just want them to get out of here. But you have to go through a process, and you have to know what the laws are in your state about having undocumented people in your state, especially when they commit a crime. So crimes are not an issue to Black people. They're not an issue to hillbilly white people. It's people who are doing bad things, so
Mhm.
you cannot categorize people as, oh man, those people are like this, those people are like that. You just have to say that that person, that individual, due to their circumstances, committed a crime, and a crime is a crime, and we have punishments for the different kind of crimes that happen in our states and cities.
Thank you for that. I just want to also point out, visa wise, there are a lot of individuals who are in the United States that have overstayed their visas.
Oh
And
yes.
there is never a conversation in the media about
Mm-hmm.
people who overstayed their college visas, nothing
Yes.
of that sort. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to point that out. And usually those individuals are white. And so usually the conversation is around brown and Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about immigrants, and currently, as of last month, the
Wow.
highest number of immigrants, illegal immigrants coming into the United States, are from Asian countries.
Oh,
Now,
most definitely.
so we don't talk about that either because they're not brown and
Oh,
Black people.
in
But
our circles, we do, because that is an issue in this
mhm,
country. And we have to realize, when you were talking about people overstaying their visas, with all of the bank closings and Silicon Valley being at a depressed market right now, all of those individuals are now, their visas are up. So
right,
those individuals need jobs.
right.
And where are they going to find those technical jobs when Silicon Valley was the one that was providing those? So do we punish them for what a corporation did, or do we assist them in keeping that visa going? Those are the kinds of decisions that we have to look at when we're talking about immigration, how people come to this country legally, how they stay here legally, what they're doing while they're here. Do we have enough jobs? Do we have enough housing for this to happen? All that has to be looked at, not just the word immigration.
Thank you. We have a question. I think this is a good question because I just want to let you know that some of us need jobs. So first question, I really don't need another gig, I promise you.
I
But
know that's right.
one of the questions that we have from the audience is, who would you select as your vice president? We are interested to know.
Well, I will tell you that it will be a tall male.
Oh,
And we haven't chosen exactly who it is going to be right now. We're going through a process of looking at some different individuals, because, vice presidents actually have a job to do. And this person has to be well rounded in community, because they're the face that we put out into the other countries to represent us. So we're vetting individuals to make sure that they fit the bill. So when, as we present them, that that is someone that people would look up to and say that, yes, this is a servant leader. And when he's called to duty, that he will actually perform his duties.
okay. And just so, because I don't hear correctly, did you say
Mhm.
a tall, Tall male?
Yes, a tall male. I am 5 feet tall.
Oh, okay. So I
So
need to
anyone
understand.
that's 5'1" and up, it's a tall male for me. But that has been recommended, that this individual does need to be a tall male, and we are vetting individuals as we're going into May.
Okay. And so for anyone that is not a political strategist, I want to give some, as I raise my eyebrow around that. So the thought process around that is stature
Mm-hmm.
gives a sense of power. And
Yes.
so therefore, and I'm assuming you're bringing in a male because that would also give some validity, but also an increased level of power to you, correct? And so I just want to say, from a strategic standpoint, that will be counterintuitive to you because you never want to hire a VP that is stronger than you. So I just want to put that out there, because that will cause a problem for you. And as being a 5-foot woman, you have to ensure that the people that you surround yourself uplift you,
Almost
but
definitely.
not overpower you. So
Oh, most definitely.
we
That's
have
why the person is being vetted
Yeah.
with us. This is coming from our political strategist for that individual to be of that stature there. Due to me being a woman running, I don't want to have like just two women running. Be it that we need to definitely show that we have balance. And when we're having balance, is usually a male and a female that's going on. I have no problems with knowing exactly where I'm staked in the ground when I'm doing leadership duties. I am the president here in South Fulton for the South Fulton Human Services Coalition, and I'm around police officers that are over 6 feet tall all the time, and I have to command the room for getting the things done. What we do is we help bridge our communities to our bureaucracies and also our legislatures and also our law enforcement. So if you talk to anyone down here, they know that I am a force to be reckoned with, only because of my secretarial skills and organizational skills. And I know community and what needs to be done to make sure that communities are safe and secure, just like we'll make sure that this country is safe and secure.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So we have another question from Jennifer Simmons. She says, how has not having any labels or designations been as a national candidate for president, especially being a Black woman, regardless of how you identify? Has it been easier or harder, or is that difficult to compare to the primary two-party system that most voters are used to? Multi-level.
No, it's not, because as you were talking, as you were doing your intro, you stated that more than 60% of the American people are frustrated with the two-party system. One, because we see that as a white power structure, not realizing that there are all races in both of those parties. The issue that I have with those parties is the entrenched leadership that is in those parties and the gatekeeping that goes on within those parties. As I iterated before, that we are asked to walk them into our communities. They don't just walk into our communities and, come out and knock on doors and talk to us face to face. We have to actually walk them into our communities. As a woman, I can walk into any community because I relate to cultures, all the different cultures that are in our country. Like, we are a country of immigrants. We are a country of salesmen and saleswomen. We are some of the best salesmen and saleswomen in this world. So you have to sort of understand that if you label me for this, you're going to start thinking about me some kind of way. And I don't want you thinking about me some kind of way. I want you to meet me and know me and understand who I am as a woman, not as my culture, not as my skin color. I want you to know that I am an American woman. I live under the American standards. I understand the Constitution. I understand my Bill of Rights. I understand what I'm supposed to do as a citizen with my Bill of Responsibilities to not only to my family and myself, but all the other countrymen and women that I live with as well. The problem with labels is that businesses grow up around that. Racism is a business, is not a thing. It is a business. People live their entire lives talking about this racism, that racism, and putting it on us as a people as though we're the ones that created that, or another people as though they're the ones who created that. That was hundreds of years ago. We have intermixed since we've been in this country and before we even got here to this country. So us being black or white is really not a thing because we're all mixed. My grandfather is Irish. So who are you to tell me that I am an African American? I am an American. We are a Mexicans. We are mixed with so many things that most of us don't even know where we come from. We just know we came from the island and things of that nature, So we live in America. So we are Americans. When you go to China, those are Chinese men and women. When you go to Africa, whatever country you're in, they identify with their country. We're just about the only country that does not identify with the country that they live in, that they're loyal to, which they will die for. And that is what we have to change our value system.
I am giggling because I know I did not hear you say mix. Did you say Mexicans? Did you say Mexicans?
Mexicans.
Mexicans. Okay, I'm gonna need you to spell. I'm gonna need you to spell that. I'm a big fan of people who create words and.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that question. I do have a comment for you. So I hear you pushing back on labels, and a label is just an identifier, correct?
Yes.
And
well, not in America is not. It is used for programs. It is used to create a business. It is used to make people feel some kind of way about themselves and where they come from. It is used to help keep people under control. That is why you do not want to utilize those labels. There's many resources available to Americans. Why do we have to only be put into a box where we only get the resources for African Americans? That's not going to help you to grow. But if you have all the resources that America has, we're the land of opportunity. So why don't we have access to all of those resources? And I can tell you, it comes out of us being labeled for this, labeled for that, HDA, DA, all of these different labels, to keep us under control.
So I hear you. And I find that very interesting because I just want to let you know that my label, my skin color for me, and I get to do this on my own and I choose this. I like to celebrate all of this, right? And all of the labels, because I get to define myself. And I do know we have systems that define us for us. However, I don't claim that, but I still stick to that. An identifier is just a label, is just an identifier, correct? And so when we are out, I have seen your photos a few times, right? And you like to wear that red hat, correct?
Yes.
And so, but is your red hat your identifier? Would people be able to identify you based on your red hat?
They would. And what they need to know is that is my covering. I keep myself covered in the blood of the Lamb because I walk continuously in blessings. I was raised Catholic, went through private schooling, and we learn through a scientific method in our private schools, in the Catholic schools. So I continue to stay covered in the blood. It has nothing to do with being Republican. It has nothing to do with really just identifying. I like to walk continuously, being covered. I cover my family, those who are close to me, those who are around in my sphere, and I keep my country, especially our leaders, in the blessings and covered in the blood of the Lamb, to make sure that they understand that you have to continuously walk that righteous path when you're talking about being led by the people.
Okay, thank you. My cousin has a question. Good morning, Lorraine. Thank you for joining. She'd like to know why are we concerned about male and female, right? And then having a male VP. We're curious.
Well, for
Is that
me, it denotes stability. Just like we have the Congress and we have the Senate, that is there for check and balances. And we in nature are male and female when it comes to balance, to making sure that we as humans continue. We need the male and female to do that. So it is a denotion of balance when it comes to leadership, because I can't always have yes people around me. I can't always have no people around me. I have to have that balance of yes and no for someone to check me. I don't want everything I say to be the right thing. I don't want everything I say to be the wrong thing. I need to have that check and balance. And when it comes to energy, that male and female synergy helps with that balance.
okay? Thank you. We are actually going to have Luther Jones is going to come on screen because he wanted to come on screen and ask you a question. So I hope you don't mind.
I do not. I love this.
No. Listen, it is good practice, right?
Oh yeah, always.
It is good practice. So I appreciate it. So we are going to bring Luther on screen, I think. Hopefully he looks decent. And Luther is, I have an international audience. And Delene, so you know, like he is actually coming from, he's going to be on from Thailand.
Okay, awesome.
So good morning, Luther Jones. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Can you hear me or no?
We can. Can you please increase your volume just a little bit?
Okay. You know I'm technically challenged.
Yes. Uh-oh, and we lost him. So we're going to bring him back in a second. But it's 7 o'clock. It's it's early in the morning, y'all. I get it. Thank you guys for your questions as we're waiting for Luther to come back on. And I just want to read. So I'm looking that way because my phone is that way. And I just want to say, Jennifer Simmons said, "Good point about labels in programming. I respect that different ideology, whether or not others agree with it." So I think this conversation is super important. So I respect you for putting yourself out here, right? I respect that. Okay, while we're waiting for Luther Jones to come back on, sis, you're running across the country. How much money have you raised?
Well, I wanted to definitely go over this as you were talking a little bit earlier about what it takes to run for president. And no, in each state you don't have to pay a fee per state. But what you do have to have per the FEC is $250 from 20 people out of 20 states. So that's $100,000. Right now, we've gone through the first year of me putting funds in. So I've met the standards for the FEC over the last year. We just did our year end, and we always need more money. I want to have a war chest of $5 million by the end of May. So we do have our volunteers who are out there diligently working into the streets. They have a event coming up on April 3rd, where we're going to be out in Liberty Plaza, and we're going to be talking about fair sentencing for our prisoners, not only in Georgia, but across the United States. So we have raised enough money to stay viable with the FEC in the presidential race, and we always need more money because we're going across the country. We're hitting the 20 states that we need to appear in to make sure that people know that they have options.
Awesome. We're going to bring Luther back, and before Luther, we can bring him on, Yoruba, and before we ask that question, I'm going to ask Luther to be brief, and I'm going to also ask that we respect Yoruba, my awesome producer, because it is Ramadan. We are in the season of Ramadan, and so she needs to, she cannot extend any longer than 15 minutes, and so I'm being respectful of that. So Luther Jones from Bangkok, Thailand, all the way. Y'all didn't know I was international, y'all.
All right, girl.
I'm fancy. All right. Go ahead and ask your question, Luther Jones.
Can you hear me now or no?
Yes, we can.
All right. So you may have already answered this question because I hopped on just a little bit, but understanding that you need 270 electoral votes
Mm-hmm.
to secure the presidency, do you think that you have a viable path forward? And if so, can you speak to that?
Yes. The things that we have to understand, and I don't know if you heard this earlier, we have a lot of people who are discontent in this country, 62%, and that's close to that already. So speaking to those individuals, speaking to their needs, giving them what they need, which is a third party so that they don't feel as though their vote is already been designed for them, by giving them these individuals to choose from. A lot of people don't understand or even look at the political process. There was more than Biden on that primary ballot. There was more than Trump on that primary ballot. But most people don't understand ballots and what it means. They don't understand a primary, that's just a party nominating someone to go forward for them. I have a party that is backing me, that's pushing me and getting me out there, the visibility that I need, because social media right now is the way to go, because we were talking about the media blackout. My mother always trained me that there's more than one way to skin a cat. So you have to make sure that you have earned media as well as paid media. When there's an issue going on, I'm out there talking about it, making sure that people understand what that issue is, not just that it's an issue, but why it's an issue, and then a result, some actions that we can take to make sure that that's not done. So I make sure that I am visible in the community, that people actually get to know who I am, and just moving forward and addressing the issues. I'm not afraid of any issue because there's always a solution to issues. There's not a solution when you don't do anything about it, when you're just there to make sure that you're increasing yourself on that issue rather than taking care of the issue. As Cesar Gonzalez will always tell you, that there has to be poverty for them to stay in leadership, if you understand that. If there's no poverty, then they can't make money off of that. But my path forward is to make sure that I'm engaged with the different organizations, the different issues that are out there, and addressing those issues and giving them resolution to those issues.
Right. Much love and respect. As someone that I am a registered voter,
Yes.
I am reminded of 2016. And I'm always skeptical of what happened to Hillary Clinton when I hear Black third-party candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because even though you, in my opinion, you may be the better candidate, but I feel like a Trump victory is dangerous.
Right now,
that's my fear.
Right now, neither one of those candidates, in my opinion, are viable candidates, only because of the condition that this country is in. If what was done in 2020 was halted, so we had time to look at it, dissect it, and then make sure that everything was fair, then I could have went along with that. But you just say, let's wait and see, and leave the people broken for this long because of what was going on in this administration, not even during the time of this administration, but even before the individual got into that position. All those things were detrimental to people's votes. We're the CEOs of this country. We're the boss of the individuals that we hire. So why are you trying to tell me what it is that I can't do? I pay your check. So I can do what I need to do. I need information. I want that information. There's no reason for you to keep that information from me when I'm looking to hire you to represent me. And I think that is a stain on both of those administrations, because they do have parties that back them. And those individuals, just like we're being complacent about what's going on, just like I said, we strengthen what we tolerate. So we have to stop tolerating these things, because we have rights in this country. That we have a constitution in this country that says that we have the right to question our government, the people that we hire to represent us. So we definitely need a third option so that people can have a clearing from the political fog that's going on right now. We talked about the media blackout. That's only because of who controls our media, that there is a blackout, and we're tolerating it. But there's a lot of us, just like Ms. Kiddada, who has sidestepped that and said, look, everyone deserves a voice. Let me utilize my platform to do that. And that is what we're doing. We're sidestepping what traditionally goes on. Even if you'll look at what went on before the primary, nothing that we used to do before our primaries went on. We had candidates that were not going to the different debates. They did other things rather than just doing the debates. Those things are allowable. The thing is, we don't know it because we don't know the process. We don't know the political process. We are in the political spectrum, so we know a bit more than the average person that goes out and pull that lever because someone told them so, not because of who they vetted and who they thought was the best candidate.
Well, Luther Jones, before we continue, because we cannot continue, we have got to wrap, because we have got to respect our religious moment in Ramadan right now. And so, Luther Jones, thank you for coming on with the question. Presidential candidate Payne, thank you for being on Life Coaching Today Presents with me, Kiddada, as Mara Gray. And I am coming for my fresh eggs, y'all. I'm coming for my fresh eggs because I hear the roosters in the background. So
I'm ready. You can hear the rooster, right?
Yes, I can hear the rooster. We have been running your link, and I will have that opportunity, and I might even bring you on again at the end of the month, because we're closing Women Histories Month. And so
yes. I'm going to an event this weekend for our women.
Yes. Thank you, everyone who joined me this morning. Yoruba,
Thank you.
Thank you as you celebrate Ramadan. Thank you for allowing us to go over, and continue to follow me, and more to come. Bye, everyone.
So much. I appreciate you.
No worries. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada Gray and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.